Hello, my name is Lydia Reedon, and what you're going to be listening to is an audio tape of a telephone conversation that Patricia Waiters and I had on Saturday, April 20th, 2013. The audio tape of this conversation is about 8 minutes and 37 seconds, but really all you need to listen to is about the first 4 minutes. And what you're listening to is Patricia Waiters confirm a meeting that she had with Jersey City City Councilman from Jersey City, New Jersey, Steve Fulop, that demonstrates election fraud. And what Steve Fulop promised was to pay for transportation to Washington for a group that Patricia Waiters put together, and he promised to arrange for a meeting with Eric Holder. Now, this is election fraud according to the U.S. Attorney's Office because these individuals are not voting their conscience. They're exchanging their vote for something of value, and that's illegal. And what Steve Fulop is doing is he's trying to buy the vote a few weeks before a very hotly contested election for mayor in Jersey City. If Steve Fulop wanted to help, he would have helped a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And the people that Patricia Waiters refers to, Joe is Joe Perry, Paul is Paul Brewer, Dr. Fair is the leader of the National Action Network chapter in Jersey, in North New Jersey. One point I wanted to make was that it's legal and fair and kosher for me to audio tape my telephone conversations in New York and New Jersey because New York and New Jersey are one-party states. And what that means is if I'm having a telephone conversation with Patricia Waiters, and I audio tape that telephone conversation for the accuracy of my records, that's legal and kosher. If Patricia Waiters and I are having a telephone conversation and Patricia Waiters audio tapes our telephone conversation for the accuracy of her records, that's legal and kosher. If a third party who is not part of the telephone conversation that Patricia Waiters and I are having listens in or tape records our conversation, that's illegal without a court order. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I do not need Patricia Waiters' permission to audio tape our telephone conversation for the accuracy of my records. And it makes simple common sense if you think about it, because if Patricia Waiters and I are having a telephone conversation and she's making handwritten notes for the accuracy of her records, and I'm making handwritten notes of this telephone conversation that we're having for the accuracy of my records, well, that's fair, legal, kosher, and an audio tape is more accurate than any handwritten note that we would take. So New York and New Jersey are one-party states, and I do not need anyone's permission to audio tape my telephone conversations for the accuracy of my records. And since I'm dealing with pathological liars and career criminals, then it would be prudent for me to audio tape my telephone conversations for the accuracy of my records. I bring this up because I'm in a lawsuit right now in federal court, and my opposing counsel, my adversary, is New York City attorney Carolyn Kruk. And she's lied today in a telephone conversation we had, and she's trying to perpetrate a deception. She told a lie, and she said that I needed her permission to tape record our conversations. I do not. As I said, New York and New Jersey are one-party states. So I've got Carolyn Kruk, city attorney for the city of New York, lying on an audio tape conversation that we had today. And today is April 30th, 2013. So back to this conversation that Patricia Waiters and I had on April 20th, 2013. And what you're going to be listening to is Patricia Waiters saying, even if Steve Fulop is buying our vote, even if he is doing it, it doesn't matter what he's doing it for. Yes, it does matter. Patricia Waiters knows that this is wrong. She ran for an elected office in Hoboken. I think she got 1,300 votes. She was also an aide to a city councilwoman. So by experience, Patricia Waiters is an expert, and she knows that selling your vote is wrong. You're supposed to be voting your conscience, not selling your vote, exchanging your vote for anything of value. But if this is the standard that we're going to set, then as I confronted my city councilman, Steve Fulop, well, as long as you're going to be paying for transportation to Washington and arranging a meeting with Eric Holder, would you do that for others? For example, would you do that for William Doherty? He's a resident in Jersey City. Do you want his vote? Will you pay for buses to Washington for William Doherty and for his family and friends? And will you arrange a meeting for William Doherty with Eric Holder? Because he's being persecuted by his landlord. What about Pauline Roman? She's a resident in Jersey City. She's been suffering for years. So, Mr. Fulop, as I said at a recent city council meeting, will you be paying for transportation for Pauline Roman, for buses for Pauline Roman, her family and friends and her supporters to go to Washington to have a meeting with Eric Holder? How about Jason Berg? Jason Berg is an independent running for city council, and he recently discovered that he's been a victim of an injustice that happened about 17 years ago. He might have to sue. And will you pay for buses for Jason Berg and his family and friends to go to Washington and speak with Eric Holder so he can correct an injustice that he suffered about 17 years ago? What about the 911 first responders, Mr. Fulop? You're a Marine, and we got 911 first responders right here in Jersey City. Will you pay for buses? Commit right now to giving 3 buses to John Field and Alex Sanchez so that 911 first responders can go to Washington. And will you arrange a meeting with Eric Holder for the 911 first responders? Alex Sanchez is calling for a meeting with the president. Will you do that, Mr. Fulop? After all, you are a Marine. Why stop there, Mr. Fulop? What about medical school students? As I discovered, there's never been a hearing for a medical school student in the state of New York since the dawn of time. Will you donate buses now for medical school students in New York and New Jersey to go down to Washington and speak with Eric Holder about how medical school students in the state of New York, at every medical school at the state of New York, are being denied a fair hearing, are being denied a hearing at all since the dawn of time. As I discovered at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University, as a medical school student, I had to stand out in a hall while in a meeting room. My professors gave false unsworn testimony against me. So will you pay for buses for medical school students to have down to Washington, to pay their transportation down to Washington and arrange for a meeting with Eric Holder? Or how about the President of the United States, so we can discuss how the first black president of the United States of America would allow medical school students to be denied their civil rights during his tenure? How about, Mr. Fulop, would you pay for buses for Roman Catholics and Baptists and Buddhists and Reverend Sungyeon Moonies and Hare Krishners and all religious groups to go down to Washington and have a meeting with Eric Holder to discuss how come private Orthodox Jewish schools like Yeshiva University and Torah College get lots of public money to promote private religious education, but when we ask for the same fair treatment, the same fair shake for all other religious groups, we get a phony baloney separation of church and state argument thrown in our faces. Mr. Fulop, how come Mr. Mikey Weinstein at Military Religious Freedom Foundation is persecuting 4 generals that I had to defend, claiming separation of church and state, but here in New York, District Attorney Vance of the Democratic Party can't point to the great big wall of separation of church and state at Yeshiva University? And Mr. Mikey Weinstein came to New York and he talked to officials from Yeshiva University, and then he encouraged me to tell the truth. They're a bunch of bigots, Lydia. Just say it. Stop dancing around it. So I can see the great big wall of separation of church that Mr. Mikey Weinstein is busy building with his Military Religious Freedom Foundation, but Mr. Mikey Weinstein and District Attorney Vance cannot show me the great big wall of separation of church and state at Yeshiva University. So, Mr. Steve Fulop, will you be paying for Roman Catholics and Baptists and Buddhists and every religious group, every faith faith-based group to go down to Washington and ask why these Orthodox Jewish schools have been getting a great deal for the last 40 or 50 years, and the rest of us are getting screwed. Well, you pay for buses for all of us, Mr. Fulop. So with that introduction, I'm going to let you listen to Patricia Waiters confirm that City Councilman Steve Fulop has committed election fraud. Thank you.
I said, how do you got to review the case? And the father not there no more, but he was the prosecutor at the time it happened. She was like, oh, it's a different prosecutor, Gregory Guy, or Guy Gregory something.
Oh, yeah. Is he the prosecutor now?
Yeah, he's active. She said, you want to go see Mr. Gregory? I got all the paperwork on, but I got frustrated because she seemed like she was being pretty fair.
No, but who's the prosecutor now? Mr. Gregory?
They don't have a head prosecutor. Mr. Gregory is the acting prosecutor now.
Yeah, he's the one who screwed me too. I wouldn't trust any of those people.
No, that's the new one. You said the Governor Christie appointed. He said, I said, I'm looking for criminal prosecution. I said, this is ridiculous. She said, yeah, they mentioned the word hurt you, so they should be criminally prosecuted. Everybody involved. She said, do you want to see Gregory?
Well, so what are you going to do? Are you going to go to the FBI?
I'm going Monday. She said, tell him that Gregory, I spoke to her, and Gregory's her boss. Gregory is Erica Patterson's boss. She said to tell him that she sent me to the FBI in Newark.
Okay, so here's the thing. Did Karen DeSoto ever call you back? Are you doing any?
No, and I left a message on Karen DeSoto's office and told her I was going to the prosecutor's office, because she told me don't do nothing until she called me back, and she never called me back.
So here's the thing. I talked to Jerry Walker during the mayor's debate, and
please, they gonna say whatever because they running, lady. I seen them at the debate.
I know.
They're gonna say whatever because they running.
I know that, but Steve Fulop isn't helping anybody for anything. So if Jerry Walker can at least
Steve's calling us back. At least Steve's calling us back, and that's what he said. He said, do he want us to get him an appointment? He was even going to give us the bus. Ask Dr. Bay. He said to go down there, but he don't want people to say he's doing it just because of the election. He said even if he promised to help us, he'll do it after the election. He said if he don't want people saying, oh, Steve just doing that because he want to get elected. But he said he'll call while we standing there. He said he could get us a date and a time. Now, how many people going? He said, give him a list of how many people going. And he told Perry and all of us, he said, this ain't got nothing to do with me for the election. He said, if you guys want to go now, or even I'll give you one better. He said, win or lose the election, I'll call. He said he'll call and pay for all our transportation here and back and lunch. He said it ain't got nothing to do with the election. Yes, he did.
Oh, and you believe that?
No, yeah. Eric holds his office. He said, how many people, what are they talking about, Patricia? How many people want to go? I said, well, I don't know. I said, we all want to go. I said, but we can't keep using each other's gas. I said, we rode all the way down there because Paul was right there. He said, well, how many you got going?
And you trust Steve Fulop? All of a sudden, he's done nothing he hates my...
At this point, you keep saying that, lady. At this point, I can't. You see how many times they made me go to the prosecutor's office last week? You wouldn't believe it. So at this point, I don't trust nobody. But if they say they're gonna do, just hold them accountable. They got to do what they say they're gonna do.
Well,
here we don't got nothing to. He said, tell us when we ready. We don't got nothing to lose. She said, do you want to go now or after the election?
So, here's the thing. When I went to the mayor's election, Steve Fulop is telling the police, oh, she's harassing me, don't let her in, and I get tickets from the other people to get me in. I'm like, Steve Fulop doesn't help anybody.
Well, see, I don't know what he told you, but we already met with him. I went to Morton Place. We was all there Saturday. I went to Morton Place, me, this other girl too, and another guy that got fired from the job, Miss Davis, the one of the autistic kids. She was there, and she told Steve, yeah, I want to go too, because I don't like the way they do it to me in the county either. It was like 13 of us. He said, how many of you guys it is? He said, I don't want y'all to feel that I'm doing this for the election.
Of course he's doing it for the election. What else is he doing it for?
Even if he is, it don't matter. We're not putting energy in it. Even if it is, if a bus pull up outside and we meet on Martin Luther King Drive, we got to get on the bus and go. It don't matter what he's doing it for. Oh, let me go more. I wish I could. I don't even got a toy Jeep. No, but I'm at the ball field, but I told you, if a bus pull out there, I'm getting on it. I don't even care. Like I told him, I want to hear Eric Holder's voice on the phone and say, all right, guys, turn down you on the 16th, blah, blah, blah. And he said it's done. He said that's all, and that's all we wanted to hear.
So let me ask you something. How come Sandra...
Right after he said that, listen, the next day right after he said that, and I know I don't want it to seem like it's political motive, that's Dr. Fair. Dr. Fair had to come Friday and bring me gas money. I broke down in the square. I was going, she seen me at the prosecutor's office. I didn't believe what he said that day. I still went to the prosecutor's office and did what I had to do. So it ain't whether they're going to do so for us or not, lady. I got to do what I got to do.
I understand. So how come Sandra Cunningham couldn't call Eric Holder's office and get you an appointment?
Because she said go to, she the one told me go to, she told me go to, what's his name? Karen DeSoto. Wait, excuse me. She the one told me go to Karen DeSoto.
And Karen
called me. I told you. Karen called twice. And I said we playing phone tag. And finally it got through. And finally it got through. And that's what she said to me.
So here.
Thank you, sweetheart. How you feel? Good for you. Good. You cold, right? You want me to get a blanket in my car? Oh, well, bye.
So Patricia. Patricia. Hello? 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 Patricia? Hello?
No, you got too much to do with it. You got a big thing. Practice tomorrow? No, please. Again tomorrow? No, please. At what time? At 9?
Patricia? 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 Patricia?
Go in the store right now and get a whole thing. Keep them in the phone.
Patricia? Patricia?
No, but that's all.
Patricia?
You'll get a whole bag for $2.
Patricia?
Good luck. If you already wish you that, don't even want you know you get in the front seat down and
Patricia? Patricia? Patricia?
Hello? I don't even know how to answer it.
Patricia?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Listen, I'm at my son's game, lady. I don't even know how to answer this phone.
I know. Right. Just listen to me for a second. I have...
No, it's too cold in here. I need to crack a little. All right, I'm just getting in my car. All of these cars got a ticket on it.
I know. Just talk to me for a second. So where does this leave me? Because I got the U.S. Attorney's Office coming after me because I'm the one that took the videotape.
So who came after you?
Pardon me?
I didn't hear you.
When I got the U.S. Attorney's Office being retaliatory and vindictive towards me because I got the videotape. The last time...
I cannot hear you. You're breaking up.